In today's video, I'll be doing a GPS repair to my Cybertruck. Now, as you'll see here, there's a chance I actually broke this and then had to fix it, but let me show you here what I found.
I've lost GPS control on my Cybertruck. My truck always thinks I'm at or near my home address no matter where I go. Even when I look on the app when my truck is somewhere else, it still tells me it's at my home. Probably no coincidence, I had installed a little digital backup camera to my Cybertruck, and I just noticed a day later, everything's out. So I thought I'd take it apart, see if I could figure it out, and if not, I'll take it to the service center and I'll still let you all know.
So chances are, if you're in the same predicament as me, it's because you've already removed this. But if not, you're gonna have to remove this rear mirror first. Once that comes down, you have to remove this whole little plastic shroud to expose the wire. So as soon as I get this cover off, I notice I have one tiny little blue wire in the front here that is clipped. So in order to repair this, I'm gonna have to take out this little silver part, which I'm guessing this is the GPS. It's held in by two tiny little Torx bits. I'll have to fiddle around a little bit to figure out what size these are.
After a little bit of trial and error, I figured out it's a T7, that tiny little screw, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out.
So a T7, not a common bit size, but I was able to find it. It actually comes out really easy if you have the right one. So I took out the one on the left, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take out the one on the right. It comes out just as easy. So I'm thinking with those two screws out, this little GPS sensor is just gonna pop right out, but not quite that easy. So after pulling on it for a good 45 seconds to a minute, I realized there's one more tiny Torx screw that I'm missing. So there's actually 3 in all. So once I go ahead and back this out, the whole thing's just gonna pull out without too much effort. And there it is. So with it out, you compare against the contrasting white seat and see I have to repair this tiny little blue wire. I'm guessing this is probably similar to like a thermostat wire, about 18 gauge. There's your little code. So I just have to repair this, but there's not a lot of room to work with. But I end up grabbing these two wires, twisting them together. I kind of made two little loops and hooked them in, but not before grabbing a tiny little piece of heat shrink tubing. In a perfect world, I would have found a smaller piece of heat shrink tubing, but this is such a tiny wire. But nonetheless, I crimped it really good with my needle nose before doing this, so it probably would have held, but still this is just protection. So I go ahead and heat this from a couple different angles. It's a little tricky because I'm trying not to burn the rest of it. But once I have it, I go ahead and crimp it down a little bit more at the needle nose end of my wire strippers. Then I just kind of like push it into place best I can. I grab some extra thin electrical tape, of course to get blued, to match the blue wire, and I go ahead and secure that up the best that I can. From there, I feel pretty good about it. It all looks good. Went ahead and lined it back up into place. Then it's just a matter of putting in these little T7 screws back to where I got them. Again, there are 3 and not 2. And these actually go in just as easy as they came out.
So I wasn't even sure if that little piece was a GPS or not. If one of you knows, please let me know down in the comments below. But I'm just guessing that was, and even if it wasn't, it was something that was wrong. So it's all repaired now. Now the only thing to do is test, does my GPS work or not?
All right, here's the moment of truth. As you can see there on the left, I am moving. And if you can look over to the right, you see that little triangle that indicates where I'm at. It is moving, which means success.
As you can see there, it does work. So I was able to successfully repair my GPS in my truck. Again, maybe I was lucky, maybe it was a fluke, but if you have the same problem in yours, try looking at that. And if you are doing any work behind that little shroud to replace the rear mirror or add a radar detector or anything like that, please be careful because it's very easy to cut one of those wires. I felt like I was careful and still did it. Hopefully this will help you. Subscribe to the channel, see what else I can mess up and then fix in my truck.